Trump's Iran war is about to make gas $5 a gallon. Here's the real number every American needs to know. I filled my tank this morning. It cost me $91. I want to show you exactly who is responsible for that number. 3 questions. What if I told you the person deciding your gas price right now lives in Pakistan and has never heard of you? What if the reason your grocery bill is going up in June has already been decided, and it happened 2 months ago in the Persian Gulf? And what if there are 4 specific moves you can make this week to stop bleeding money without changing a single thing about your lifestyle? What happened? The real story. Let me give you a number the news did not cover properly. On April 7, 2026, oil dropped 16% in a single day, the biggest one-day drop since the pandemic crash of 2020. People were celebrating. 48 hours later, the ceasefire collapsed. Iran refused to open the Strait of Hormuz. Trump threatened to bomb every bridge and every power plant in Iran. Oil climbed back above $100 per barrel. Gas at the pump hit $4.12 nationally. California hit $5.87. And then Trump sat down with Fox News. The host asked him directly, will gas prices come down before the midterms? He said, and I am quoting this directly, it could be the same or maybe a little bit higher. The President of the United States just told you gas is not going down before November. That is not a prediction. That is a statement from the man who controls the negotiation. The Strait, why a 21-mile waterway controls your life. Here is the thing most Americans do not know. There is a waterway called the Strait of Hormuz, 21 miles wide at its narrowest, and 20% of all the oil on Earth passes through it every single day. On February 28th, the U.S. and Israel attacked Iran. Iran shut the strait. Maersk stopped. CMA CGM stopped. Hapag-Lloyd stopped. Every major shipping company in the world pulled back within 72 hours. Consulting firm Rapidan Energy confirmed it. The largest oil supply disruption in recorded history. Right now, 230 loaded oil tankers are sitting idle inside the Persian Gulf, trapped. That is 10 million barrels per day of oil just sitting still. Iran is charging over $1 million per ship just to allow transit. Per trip. $1 million per ship. That is not a fee. That is a ransom. And the American driver pays it at the pump every single time. The number nobody is doing. Here is the math the news skips. Every dollar oil rises adds roughly 3 cents per gallon at the pump. Oil was at $73 per barrel before this war started. It is above $95 right now. That is a $22 move, roughly 66 cents per gallon added on top of prices that were already high. And it is not just gas. FedEx is now charging a 26.5% fuel surcharge on ground deliveries. The U.S. Postal Service added an 8% fee on some packages. Airlines have added surcharges. Amazon too. Every box delivered to your door now has the Iran war baked into its price. They don't call it that. They call it a fuel fee. You are paying an Iran war tax on every package, every delivery, and every gallon. You just don't see the line item that says it. The credit angle nobody connects. Here is what financial channels almost never say about gas spikes. It is not just about what you spend at the pump. It is about what elevated fuel costs do to your credit score over time. When prices spike, Americans do 3 things. They cut discretionary spending, they defer purchases, and when cutting is not enough, they rotate expenses onto credit cards. American credit card debt just hit $1.277 trillion, the highest ever recorded by the New York Federal Reserve. The average APR on a new card is 23.72%. The Fed is not cutting rates in April. Here is the math nobody does. A family spending an extra $80 a month at the pump puts it on a card. They carry the balance. That $80 becomes $95 in interest inside 12 months. And if their utilization pushes past 30% of their credit limit, the score starts dropping. Not because of anything they did wrong, because of a war in a waterway most of them have never heard of. A gas spike at the pump becomes a credit score drop on your report. Most people never connect those 2 dots until the damage is already done. Before the action steps, I want to say this directly. When outside forces are attacking your cost of living and quietly attacking your credit at the same time, the one thing you can actually control is your credit score and your ability to get funded. I wrote Credit Rewrite 800 the 800 Plus system and get funded for your business for exactly this moment. Not theory, a system. How to find errors on your report, how to dispute them, how to add payment history that is already yours but invisible to the bureaus, how to get approved for business funding. The link is in the description. 4 moves make these this week. Here is what actually moves the needle. Not theory. Specifics. Move 1. If you have a gas cashback credit card, use it, but pay the full balance every single month, not the minimum, every dollar. Do not let $4 gas become 23% credit card debt. That math will hurt you worse than the pump. Move 2. Log into every credit card account today, not this weekend, today. If gas and grocery spending has pushed any balance above 30% of the credit limit, pay it down before the statement closes. The statement closing date is what reports to the bureaus, not the payment due date. Most people lose points on timing alone. Move 3. If you carry any variable rate debt, a HELOC, an adjustable mortgage, a personal loan on a floating rate, call your lender this week. The Fed is not cutting in April. If oil keeps inflation elevated, rate cut timelines get pushed out further. Lock fixed rates now, not after the next inflation print makes it worse. Move 4. Track your actual gas spending for 30 days. Write the number on paper. Most people are shocked by the real monthly total. Building it into your budget as a fixed line item, like rent, is the difference between being reactive to this economy and being in control of it. The people who come through this economy ahead are not the ones who earn more. They are the ones who protected what they had before the next wave hit. Zoom out the bigger picture. This gas story is one piece of a larger simultaneous squeeze. The Iran war is driving fuel and food costs up. Tariffs are adding hundreds of dollars per household per year. A 100% pharmaceutical tariff just hit brand name drugs. Credit card debt is at a record. The IRS lost 27% of its workforce. The Fed is not cutting. Each one alone is manageable. Together, in the same 6-month window, they compound. The family spending more at the pump is also spending more on groceries because fertilizer costs are up from the same war. They are also paying more on debt because rates are elevated. They are getting less IRS service because the workforce was gutted. This is not bad luck. This is a chain of decisions made at the highest levels of government landing in your bank account simultaneously. Understanding this is not doom. It is the map, and you need the map right now. The U.S. Navy blockade of Iranian ports went active on April 13th. Uncharted mines are still in the strait. 230 tankers are still trapped. Peace talks collapsed on April 12th. Trump told you himself gas is probably not going down before November. You did not start this war, but your wallet is absorbing every consequence of it. The question is not who is responsible. The question is what you do while you still have a window to act. Tell me in the comments, are you cutting something out of your life right now because of gas prices? What is it? I want to see what this is actually doing to real people, not what the national average says. Next video. Trump signed a 100% tariff on your prescription drugs. Not a headline. That is your next pharmacy bill. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Hit like if this gave you something real today. Share this with someone who keeps blaming themselves for being financially stretched when the answer is 8,000 miles away.